Hello,
What's
good
going
evening,
on?
and welcome to Stateside on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes, and I'm joined by Brenna Duncan, all the way in LA. You're actually in Los Angeles, aren't you? If I'm
Actually,
not
Orange County,
Orange County, which is
which is a
separate.
little below,
Oh, it's a
but
little below, but it's California, isn't it?
this is what I keep telling people when they mistake Orange County for Los Angeles is that
Yeah,
we used to be the vacation spot for Los Angeles. So all those Hollywood bigwigs, right? So they would
yeah,
come down here to the beach. And so a lot like John Wayne
yeah.
has estates down here. Like he's such a big part, a big presence in our who else? I think Nixon had some. Like I
All
mean, we
right,
have
okay.
we have like Dennis Rodman lives down here, so it's like it's all just like we're a little appendage of the LA.
Well,
Um, but
the
we are
reason.
separate.
Okay, so you're not totally LA. You're just
No,
California, right? That's
we're just
fair enough.
California.
Is
Hmm.
that Orange County? Is that where the OC is set? Is that what the OC in
Yes.
Orange County stands for?
Yes.
Well, there
Yes.
you go. You learn
I
something every
never
day.
watched I never watched it because I don't really the one Orange County one I did watch was Arrested Development. So if
Oh
you actually
yes,
which is by the guy a guy that lived here. So at least I
right.
have that's a real reference. So if you
Yes,
want the
yeah,
real Orange County, if you want the
yeah.
real OC,
Watch Arrested Development. It's very
that's
very funny
Arrested.
and
It's great.
and quite important to what was to come, especially with them trying to build a wall between California and Mexico. Anyway, the reason why I'm talking to Brenna does the Bin podcast with Wayne Maker, Wayne in Basildon, Wayne Lynch, who is one of our regulars on the Politics Socials on Friday nights, who you all know and love. So yes, Brenna knows Wayne quite well. Do you have a problem with Wayne swearing too much on your show, on your podcast, or
Uh, y-
do you keep him on a
do
short
we have a
leash?
so we have if do we have a problem with it? No. Is it not us? Yes.
What can I say? He likes to swear. Oh, he's in the
He's
chat. Hey, Wayne, he's in the chat. He's watching. He's watching.
what?
He's in Doncaster today. All right, Wayne. But yes, he'll be back on. He says, "My beautiful Brenna," and he's sending kisses.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, Wayne.
And
Love you,
FT
Wayne.
is in the chat is saying, give or take a few letters, Orange County pretty much describes Trump. So, Brenna, we are going to talk today about the Supreme Court decision that has just been handed down, which says that basically if you are the president now and you're
Oh.
doing something as part of your presidential duty, which is undefined, you are above the law. Diplomatic immunity, as Josh Ackland liked to say in Lethal Weapon 2 before he was shot dead by Danny Glover. Yeah. Where do we go from here? Is it as bad as I think it is? Or is it worse?
It's it's not just as bad as you think it is. It's going to get worse. And this whole thing was basically I mean it's basically about Trump's involvement in January 6th and
Yeah.
whether or not that would be considered him being part of an insurrection, because that's the whole point. And this is the ruling that they wanted, because they wanted the Supreme Court to go, we're not going to have a real opinion about this.
Yeah.
We're going to say, all right, private acts are not immune, which then they decided not to define what official or private acts was. And that's kind of that hole that is there. So um, this is only going to get worse. He's got other cases that are coming up. The documents case in Florida, this
Mm,
could affect it, because could this be an official act?
yeah. Well, anything could
And
be.
yeah,
But
and that I
what's to
think is
stop
what's
Biden? What's to stop Biden from just taking Trump out now?
I mean,
Seal Scene 6.
that's kind of the the trickles that are coming down from this, where it's like, yeah, if Trump is allowed to basically, you know, have an insurrection
Yeah.
on government property,
Yeah.
that Biden can do whatever he wants. And
Cool.
every other president from this point on can do whatever they want.
Can just go on a murder spree.
Just, yeah. And as long as it's official, as long as it
Yeah.
goes through official channels,
So
it's
so if
immune.
he shoots someone with a six shooter, right, like a revolver, and it's just one that is found on the street, that probably wouldn't be an official act. But if he shoots someone with a revolver that actually has like a little plate on it that says "property of the U.S. government," or "this is an official gun of the president," then that's an official act, isn't it? Because it's an
That
official
would,
gun.
I mean, I'm no lawyer, but that does sound fairly official. I mean, one of the things that I was hearing before the actual ruling came in was like, who was talking to Trump to to do all these terrible things. So
Mm,
like the fake electorates, the finding the votes. Like if he talked to private people, such as his private lawyer, yes, that is a private act, which means that they can go after him because that is not immune. But if he talks to, I don't know, his attorney general to do the
yeah.
same thing, that's would be considered under this ruling an official act because it's an official member of the government. So, welcome to the.
Shit show.
Uh,
um, I mean,
I'm not happy about this either.
well, I mean, and this is coming hot off the what you just mentioned before a second ago, which was the debate last week when Biden just he sounded dead. Like he honestly sounded like he was on his last legs,
It
and
was,
he was just kind of giving his his last. He's just been given his last
yeah.
rites,
I
and this
mean,
is what he sounded like.
I don't know, but it sounded like he had a pretty bad cold that he was walking around in, which, I mean,
Yeah,
is,
but even
you
so, I
don't
mean,
do sick, man, even if it was. Uh, but Trump still didn't do anything. First off, he didn't answer any questions, and second
no,
thing, he didn't say anything that was new. And
but he
that's,
didn't have to because he was fighting a dead man.
yeah, I'm
It's a bit
a,
like he's a boxer, right? And he comes out
yeah,
onto the ring like this, and he doesn't actually
he
hit
just does
anyone.
this.
Just his opponent faints in front of him, and he's like, "Yeah, I won
I
by
won. Yeah.
default, or because
Basically,
that's it."
it was that one by default.
What are people saying over there? I mean, you're part of the Democrats, aren't you, or Democratic
Yeah.
lot in your county, aren't you?
Yes.
And so have you seen them over the weekend? Like what are people saying? Are they freaking out like me?
There are exactly like this split, and I think there's more people that are like, we need to, we we can't back down right now because the money, the manpower, the work that was getting done in order
Mm,
to him just to get like all the, official ballot stuff, that that's all that's been going on. And that's a lot of work, that's a lot of money, that's a lot of people. And there are some that are like, this needs to change. But remember, let's think about this for a second. Biden gets elected, right?
yeah.
Biden somehow, but resigns. Who's next in line? Well, it's Kamala Harris. It's not like it's not like Trump gets it.
No,
And
but
and
but
that
but can someone else other than Kamala stand in? I thought that it's really
no,
up to
the line of succession is very, very specific. Now, in terms of, if we were to have this open convention, that is it's always
yeah
a threat. They've been they threatened it when Trump got elected, was
yeah
that the Republicans were going to have an open election, and that didn't happen.
yes.
Um,
But I think in
The
this case that it really, really should. After that performance in that debate, I am freaking out. I am freaking out. So I don't know what it must be like for people in America right now, but
I mean, on the personal side, I am not, because I'm in California, so
so you'll be all right.
we're gonna be fine regardless, right? Now I don't know
But
what's
are
I
you?
don't know
Are you
what's
California? Are you? Are you going to be fine without the rest of the country? Are you
we
going to break
actually
away?
can. We're the fourth largest economy in the world. Um,
Okay.
we literally can
Okay.
self-sustain ourselves.
Yes.
So
Okay.
us
But
us personally, we can do that.
yeah, yeah. But
I
if
don't
Trump gets
know.
in, you know that Europe's buggered. Like he's going
Well,
to hand a blank check to Vladimir Putin to just roll his tanks into our
yeah, and
continent and
this is the thing I
kill as
think
many of us
needs
as possible.
really needs to be exclamation point, that there is actually like our vote is between autocracy and democracy. And I'm not for autocracy. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I read history. I read, I know
And
how
you're a
to.
woman.
And then there is a whole lot of things that are, I'm third generation American.
Yeah.
So I do know that I have immigrant family. Like I can trace that. I have
Most of you
members of the
Americans,
LGBTQ plus community in my
yeah.
family.
But
That's
most of
very
you Americans are actually immigrants, from what I hear. Like
yes.
99%, was it last?
It's quite a bit. I
Yeah.
actually have a couple family members that are native, and it's fantastic. Like
Oh,
they're
good.
actual Native American. I'm like,
The
this
real,
is
the real
great.
Americans.
Like real Americans.
Yeah. So when
But
people go, oh, these people they come here and they won't learn the language, and what? How's your Navajo?
right, exactly.
Tim
There are
Ballum.
30,000 languages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Tim Ballum in the chat. Thank you very much for the super chat there, mate. This is all delaying tactics. Eileen Cannon down in Florida will send Jack Smith's prosecution up to the Supreme Court, so it's delayed until after the election when he can shut it down or even pardon himself.
Yep.
Yes, Tim. Exactly. Eileen
Eh,
Cannon has been delaying the stolen documents case as best she can. When Trump talks about the deep state and these people who've got this agenda out to get him, he's part of the deep state. He's obviously, because he's got the Supreme Court on his side. He's got
Could this be
federal judge on his side.
projection, Graham? Could this be
Yes.
projection?
Well, it could be.
It could be. Well, I'm no expert.
But
I just can read.
Okay, so we've also got a chat from Ivan Ambrose. Thank you very much, Ivan.
Oh.
I'm not going to be too opinionated about US politics like I'm about UK politics, but can Biden please step down? Please. He should think of the people of America before himself. He should think of me. He should think of the people of Britain. He should be thinking about the people of everywhere before himself. He just. We need to take the keys off Grandad. I'm sorry, it's a horrible thing to do. I know he loves racing in his car around the corners, sometimes on the pavement, but it's too. Yeah. So just to go back to Biden, what other than convincing him to step down, and then saying to Kamala Harris, we need to have somebody else, because I quite like Kamala Harris. Cards on the table. I've got no problem with her.
Californian.
Yeah, I've got no problem with her whatsoever. But there are better people placed who might be more well known in the 6 swing states that need to be won to win the president. So just taking emotion out of it and just thinking practically, we have to beat Trump.
Yes,
because otherwise everything ends. Like that. That is it. End of America. You lot will collapse into civil war again. It's not going to be pretty this time.
You can just take us back.
There are more guns than people.
Just take us back. Just take us back.
No, you're Mexico. You're Mexico. You went ours. We were New England. Thank you very much. That's the colonies we lost. We
just split them back up into.
Yeah, you go back to Mexico, New Orleans back to France, and New England back to England, and the rest of it can just be a desolate wasteland like in Mad Max.
Yeah. It's kind of is.
Wayne, can you not swear on our chat because it comes up on the screen? You bloody.
What is he saying now?
He's calling someone to see you next Tuesday.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
he's calling
Well,
Kamala Harris to see you next Tuesday for some reason, but there you go.
why?
Meanwhile, Michael in the chat is saying Taylor Swift, president of the United Federation of Planets, which I agree with. Um,
Is
but
she in Ireland right now? Like, just completely,
she's just being
just
awesome. That's what she's doing.
she's just like everybody stops. Yeah,
Yes, she came
everybody
to my
stops with
hometown
her.
of Liverpool. We put out a red carpet for her. We redecorated all the buildings, and she gave millions and millions of pounds to all the different food banks we have in Liverpool to make sure they're all stocked up for the year. Because she's nice like
A
that.
saint.
And she could have a big effect on the American election. If she says, I'm voting Democrat, hopefully other people will do it. But I was quite pessimistic about Biden's chances at the best, before all this happened. I was thinking, Trump's been indicted on all these charges across 4 different trials. He's been found by a court of law to be a person who has engaged in sexual assault and rape. He's found to have, falsified business records, done all these things. And yet it hasn't made a dent in his popularity amongst his MAGA Republicans.
I mean, you can look at that as that it's his cult. It's his cult of personality or whatever, whatever you want to call it. It's he has basically built his following to not trust anybody except him. And that's what's seen. That's what's being shown. And I mean, unless he gets carted off to jail with his hands handcuffed behind him in an orange jumpsuit, they're still not going to believe that.
Well, even if he goes to jail, no one's going to believe it.
It's just it's what he has done and what like his just mass spread of disinformation and the way that nobody wants to challenge his disinformation. I mean, if you want to talk about like the debate, the amount of lies that he was telling, like, there's a normal amount of political lies, and then there's what Trump said. And nobody said anything about it. Nobody talked about, like, they said that they wouldn't fact check him. That's the only way that they got him on the stage, was that they said they won't.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have been up to the moderators, to be honest with you. It should have been up to his opponents on the stage to say, that's not true. Stop lying.
Exactly.
But
I mean,
he was away with the fairies. He was off his head on
yeah, exactly.
Pixie dust. I don't know, PCP. He just wasn't there. He wasn't there, and it was terrifying and excruciating to watch in equal measure.
It was not. I've seen pretty terrible debates, and I don't even call it a debate at that point, because there's no real debate going on.
No.
It
was just one man lying and the other one mumbling.
Yeah, and then the moderator's going, okay, this is fine. The fire's happening behind them, and they're saying this is fine. We're not going to do anything about this. So I think it wasn't great, and I mean, it will.
And I think that's
hopefully
a bit tame.
They change. I think that's a bit tame.
I think it was devastating, and I think that
maybe Biden just needs his vitamin shot.
Well,
vitamins.
That's not great, is it? I mean, this is it now. I mean, I feel like the Democrats need to come together and take the sensible option, because we in the UK were in a very similar situation in 2019, where we had a very old man in front, fronting up the Labour Party at the time, who was exceptionally popular amongst his own supporters, who wouldn't have any criticism against this guy whatsoever. Like, if you criticize him in even the smallest possible way, they'll come down on you like a ton of bricks, because how dare you say he's not the most perfect man who ever lived. We were running into the general election, and we knew that our side, the Labour Party, was going to get absolutely battered with this guy in charge, and yet he would not stand down. And I fear the same thing happening in America. And at least we've got another election in the UK on Thursday. If Trump gets in, you're not going to have another election.
Nope,
That's it.
that's
Not only
that's
he says he's
true.
going to be dictator from day one, the Supreme Court have now said he can
He's
kill, he can murder all of his political opponents or have them put in jail, put executive orders out to murder the children of immigrants or people who are
mhm,
LGBTQ plus.
as
He
long
can
as
do all
it's
that
official.
as long as it's official, as long as he does a little wax stamp.
Yeah,
Anything that delights his sick little sadistic mind is good and proper and legal in America.
yeah.
And if you're a minority or you're a woman or if you're not an
That's
idiot, I'm saying now, get out
yeah,
while you can. Get out.
yeah. It's
Or
it's
go to California, like the
yeah,
Jode family.
or vote like everybody's life depends on it. And I think that that is something that has this whole, apathy thing that has happened.
Mm,
This like we cannot like we don't live in a society in which we can force people to vote. But we should. Like we
well,
need
no,
people to
because
vote.
people who don't really pay attention to politics, like they don't always make the best decisions when it comes to
And
politics. They
that's how
vote
the
for the name they've heard
Republicans
of.
that's how the Republicans have like created this monster. And
Yeah.
Republican or conservatism is in the minority. Like
Yes.
we're pretty much a moderate to left leaning.
Yeah, but
We're in that
I've
category.
got a
But
quote for you from the News Desk, was it? The TV show, Evan
oh,
Sorkin TV show, where he says,
the
"You
newsroom, yeah.
liberals, you think you're all so clever. If you're so clever, why'd you lose all the time?"
Yeah.
But yeah, also you're saying like America is more liberal and conservative, but then you've got states like Wyoming with a population of less than 500,000 who have exactly the same number of senators as you guys with a population of 40 million in
Yeah.
California. I mean, okay, cool. Give loads and loads of extra representation to yokels in the middle of buttfuck nowhere who,
That was
very excited to tell you they've got the moon in a bucket.
well, if you read, which I know you do, you would know that the reason why we have those is because the little states didn't think that they would get very much representation. So
Yeah,
they wanted everybody to have equal amount of senators, and then the big states that had not a lot of population because they were slave owning states wanted
yeah,
they wanted as much representation as they can possibly get by not actually representing the people that
yeah.
were in there because they weren't people.
Well, we've
Women and
got
minorities are not people.
no, no,
So
no. They look like people, and also the only people are unborn babies. Once they're born, they're not people, which is
oh
really
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
It's just the American way. But yeah, Trump was saying in the debate last week that the Democrats kill babies. He literally stood up and said a number of times, and Biden didn't say, "Eh." You know what I mean? He didn't even react to it. He didn't go, "What the fuck are you on, man? Saying we kill?
Well,
Of
the
course we don't kill
moderators didn't
babies.
go.
What's
That's not
wrong with
true.
you?"
That's a lie.
Anyone else would be like, "What? You
I
think
know.
that a baby is born and then what? We stab it with a knife and then we throw it in the bin? What?
That's
Where in the
illegal, and
world do they do that? You
we're
lunatic."
actually against. Do we have to actually say that we're against killing born babies?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I don't like this is what they're doing. Like they're
Yeah.
forcing these weird things to be said.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't know.
I just
But
wanted a big shout out to Tim Ballum there in the chat. Jamie Raskin for president. We've got a Jamie Raskin fan in the chat there. Thanks, Tim. And also
Okay.
to Jamo66 for the super chat. Thank you. Sorry to be off topic, but the link to end the Tories is broken because you put .vote instead of .com. I fixed that when I read that super chat, so thank you very much for letting me know. And also, there's another one from Jazz. Thank you for Jasmo66, who's just written, "If Trump gets in, it will be Gilead from The Handmaid's Tale come true. If women don't get out now, they will be trapped." Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's if you watch The Handmaid's Tale, or you know that all these little tiny laws and policies and requirements, religious indoctrination that they're doing, it's just very little slow drip into this fascism, this this theocracy. And we have now, 10 commandments in public schools, like have to teach the Bible in public schools.
Yes.
This is
And
this is
the Ten
happening.
Commandments is on the wall in one of the states now. In every classroom, they've got to have the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
And if you're not a Christian, you're just told not to look at it.
Yeah. Look away.
Look
Look
away.
away.
Look
Look
away,
away.
Dixieland. Just
Which also kind of defeats the purpose of having it in there. Like, isn't it the idea that like Christian values are supposed to be the best, and so that's why that they're up there. And so if you're not Christian, you should be looking at them. I don't know. I've always had a problem with religious indoctrination in school, but that's only because I'm, a rational person.
And you actually think about this kind of thing.
I've
So-
actually had very many conversations throughout my life about religious indoctrination in public schools because I come from public school teachers. So, of course, neither of them want
Just to point
religious
out, by
indoctrination.
public school, you mean state school. You mean like
Yeah,
school.
so
Yeah.
publicly funded.
Yes, because in the UK, public school means a private school, which makes no freaking sense. But then our system makes no sense. So
Because
whatever.
private school is different in here. Private school is religious school. So,
well, yeah, in the olden days, it was church school or public school, and you had to pay for the pleasure of both. But super chat, another one from Tim. Thank you very much, Tim. You're being very generous to us. Tim says Trump will annex California if it tries to leave the union.
We technically can't. They've tried that. It was on the ballot that we were supposed to split up into states, separate states, 3 separate states, and then
When
California had. That was on the ballot. It was
not recently.
Yeah, it was not too long ago. I think it was 2020, 2020, where they tried this separation because of the way that California is, because it's, as you said, it's a big state with a huge population.
Yeah.
But they wanted to split it up so that that there was more Republican representation.
Nice.
Not this Cal exit. Thank you for that. You've now created new words. So this Cal exit that they were going to do, where they were going to split up California into 3 separate states, where there would be 2 Republican controlled ones. So far more, the Central California and Northern California would be Republican conservative, and then the southern part, which is far more on the liberal side of things. But that got struck down in California Supreme Court because it's unconstitutional. You can't make more states on your own. So
that's interesting. Well, I mean, Puerto Rico voted to become a state years ago and still isn't, and Washington DC would rather like to become a state and isn't, which would add more people to the Electoral College and help out the Democrat Party. But no, not going to happen for some reason. Peter Carter's asking, is America ready for an open gay president? Pete Buttigieg. How do you pronounce his name? Buttigieg, is it?
Buttigieg. He pronounced it 2 ways. It's either boot edge or booty judge. So
I like booty judge because that makes it sound like he's a judge of booties. I'm going to call him Booty Judge from now on. Anyway, no, he can't. Sorry, I don't make the rules here, but basically, if you are a woman or you are an ethnic minority or you are part of the LGBTQ plus community, you can't run for president because you won't win. Well, you can run for it, but you just won't win in this current climate.
You also can't be atheist.
Yes. So you need someone in their 50s who is a good white, God-fearing married man with children, a picket fence, all that bullshit. I mean, if Biden wins, and I don't think he's going to, but if he does, it will be because people are voting against Trump and voting against the Trump presidency. And that might be enough. It genuinely might be enough to get him over the line. But I would much rather there were people voting for the alternative rather than just against something. I'm just like, we need to vote this way because we have to and feel compelled to do it to save our union. And
that should be the message. The message should be, because also, we are not voting for one person when we vote we vote for who their cabinet, what their cabinet
Yeah.
is going to look like, as
Yeah.
well as we vote for our senators, we vote for um our Congress, we vote for local. I mean, all this stuff really does matter. And this is the thing I've done my entire life since I was little. I've been a part of politics, learning about what it takes to become an elected official.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work, a lot of money, and you have to love what you do. And this is why, like, the local candidates I support, they love where we are. They love our city. They love our county. They love our state for, for what it has, what its
Mm.
potential is, what it can do. And like to look and see people who obviously do not care about the people in the country or in their state
No.
or in their city, and the actively trying to prevent them from living,
Yeah.
from accessing things. Like, we were starting to have a conversation about Huntington Beach, which is part of Orange County, which deems themselves separate from all of us, to the point where we have Orange County elections. So our Orange County has its own set of rules for elections. Huntington Beach was going to vote on subverting those rules, where they could impose their own rules about who can vote, where they can vote, when they can vote, and how they're going to be counted, because they don't trust, because they've been indoctrinated into this idea
Yeah.
that elections are rigged. Like, unless it's conservative or, controlled, that they're going to, the only way to make them secure is if it's conservative run.
Yeah.
And we don't have that. We have nonpartisan, and they
You
don't
got to
like
stop
that.
doing that. You got to stop doing that. So, when they go low, kick them. Stop this whole being honourable shit. I'm fed up of it.
It is.
We try and do it over here, and it's like the Tories just want to get down in the mud and fight. And sometimes, you maybe do it unofficially, but you got to fight them, because
That's
otherwise they're
why
going to take the
I
absolute
like
piss.
the way that Gavin Newsom, my governor, has
Yes.
been sort of taking on, like, individually, the Republican Party, is incredible, because he is willing to fight for that. He is willing to call Ron DeSantis a liar and a cheat
Yes,
to
because he
his
is.
face.
Ron the Sanctimonious.
Yes.
Trump's called him worse, but now he's like, oh yeah, I love you, Trump. I'll do anything you say. But yeah, Gavin Newsom's one of the names that has come out for someone who could replace Biden.
Mhm.
Unfortunately,
And
he
I
is
think
governor of
he could.
California. I think he'll win. Someone said, but he's from California. He's not from one of the swing states. And I'm like, yeah, but Ronald Reagan did all right. He can string the sentence together, and like you say, he gives as good as he gets, and we need that against Trump. We can't have someone just standing on the stage looking a bit bemused, like, oh my God, I can't believe this person's getting away with it. Hillary Clinton did kind of the same thing when she debated him in 2016. She was like trying to do a normal debate. You can't do a normal debate with Trump.
You can't do it.
You've got to laugh at him. You got to make fun of him. You got to make him angry. You got to make him feel stupid and small, little small-handed orange man, and you have to just insult him completely. Like in a friendly, jocular way. So you can just say, "Oh, it's just banter, mate. It's just banter. Don't get upset. Don't get upset."
Locker room talk.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So throw all those lines back to him. Yeah. So when he doesn't answer the question and talks about something completely different, say, "Excuse me, I just want to ask, did you not hear what the question was? Were you having a senior moment where you laugh?
Right.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to sit down, have a glass of water, right? Because the adults are talking now.
Maybe all that time in court.
Enrage him to the point where he shits and pisses himself on public television, on that national television, and you can go, look, see, he's not suitable to be president, because people don't care about him killing people or having insurrections and riots and all that shit. They don't care about that. But if he pooped himself on national television, I think they will care about that. I've got some super chats to get through before we go on.
Let's do that.
Anthony Fisher, thank you very much for the super chat. Make debates more like Would I Lie to You, which is a British panel show where a celebrity has to make a statement and then the other celebrities on the other panel have to guess whether they are telling the truth or lying. So it's usually a personal things like when I was 6,
I
I
love British
accidentally
game shows. I
put
need to look this one up.
I put a marble up my nose and I had to go to hospital to get it out. Something daft like that. And then they'd all debate on whether this was true or not.
Exactly.
Number
I like
3.
that idea.
It's very funny, but I find that a lot of panel shows that go over to America, they don't work as well in America. And I don't know if it's because of the class system. I don't know whether it's because the style of humor is slightly different in America. But I feel like in America, when you have those celebrity things, if you do a roast, it works quite well. But a roast in Britain doesn't seem to go down as well. It just seems nasty. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Anyway,
Okay.
Number 3, in the chat there. Thank you very much, Richard, for the super chat. Pro-lifers support unlifing those who oppose them. Yes, they do, and they support the right of any, what they call a cytoblast, is it? Before it's an embryo, that any as soon as an egg is fertilized, they will defend that to the death of the fetus or the mother. Until it's born, and then it can piss off and die. It's a very strange way.
Yeah, you can't feed them. You can't feed them in school.
No,
you can't give them lunch. Healthcare, you can't do that. An environment to live in that actually is not dangerous. Like regulations that they just pulled some regulations from the Supreme Court just did that on environmental safety. So whatever. Who needs car safety?
who needs safety belts? Who needs crash helmets?
They don't.
I read about a guy who went to an anti-crash helmet demonstration on his motorbike and fell off and smashed his head on the ground and died. And they were like, well, if he's wearing a helmet. Anyway, Ivan, thank you very much, Ivan, for the £10 super chat. Question: I know the US is a lot bigger than the UK, but why does it take so long for the results in the US compared to much quicker results in the UK? Well, that's an interesting one. Do you want to take that one, or can I give
I have a little bit of
cents?
insight on this because we don't have one system of voting. So we have multiple systems of voting. We have paper ballots, we have electronic, we have the mail-in ballots, we have absentee ballots, which are just mail-in ballots that you don't have to mail in all the time. So like military does absentee.
Yeah.
So it takes a while in order to consolidate all those, especially ones that are like paper, where we have to have backups. So even if you do electronic, you have paper. If you do paper, you read it electronically, but you still need that backup of the paper. Mail-in ballots, you have to scan. You have to scan several times. And then if they don't scan, you have to see why they're not scanning. So it does, and human beings are behind a lot of this. That's what's really important. Now, we don't have one full system because we have states' rights, because, it's for some reason we can't agree on just this is how it's just easier to disenfranchise people if the states are involved in it, as you probably have heard. You can stop people from voting. So that, I think, is one of the cruxes of that. And there's other minor things that come. We have early voting, but they don't release that until the day of like when polls are closed. So there's a little bit of everything. Graham, do you have any other insight on this?
I think they do it on purpose, because in America, from what I've seen from the outside, I'm not allowed to go there anymore. I'm banned, I'm afraid. But from the outside, it doesn't half look like certain people, they don't want to vote, and so they make sure there's not enough places for them to vote. So you got these massive queues to the polling booth, which never happens in the UK. It doesn't happen in almost any other country in the world. I mean, you look at the way they do it in India. I mean, it takes like a month to do the election in India because it's such a massive country, 1.3 billion people. But they make sure that everyone's within a mile or so of a polling station, even if that means setting up a polling station halfway up a mountain or the middle of a jungle or in the middle of a desert. Doesn't matter. They'll set one up, and it's like crazy that system would be more efficient than the most technologically advanced nation in the world, which is America. It's just, But I think that is it's a feature, not a bug. They've done it on purpose because they want to put
And it
the
definitely
wrong people off voting.
it happened after the 13th Amendment, which was the no slavery.
Yeah,
And then when women got the right to vote, and then, African Americans got the right to vote, and then, immigrants got the right to vote. And it's so much easier to make voting more complicated
yeah,
because you can actually pinpoint where you can make it difficult. Now, we have it in California. The reason why it takes forever is because we have, huge population and we're a big state. But other places that are smaller states with smaller populations, they do this, they do it on purpose.
yeah.
And they make things harder. Like electronic is not, early voting easier. Um, more polling places, more consolidated polling places that we have, easier. Mail in, easier.
Yeah.
By the way, mail in, very, very secure.
Yes.
So please, this whole lie that mail-in makes it easier to do fraud, it actually doesn't. It's very difficult because everything is scanned several times, and if something's wrong, it's thrown out. So
Yeah. Well, it's infuriating. I mean, it's infuriating for me. I don't even live there, but it must be more infuriating for you. Questionable obscenity. Thank you very much for the super chat. In the UK, we insult our friends and compliment our enemies. I once had to calm a Brit down who got complimented by a mutual Yank friend. He was so confused. Yeah, don't compliment anyone unless you're trying to butter them up. And Jez Hunter saying, I once pretended to be a Christian to enforce fascism because banjo twanging cousin touchers are gullible marks. That would be Trump on Would I Lie to You? Yeah. Next, I'll be letting gingers like Graham vote, says Michael. Yeah, that could happen. I'm not allowed to vote because they don't have a soul, unfortunately, over here. They have a strict no gingers policy. I'm joking. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Fine,
So
I won't go there.
To circle back to what happened today in the Supreme Court, we had this
Yes.
judgment that we've been waiting months and months for. They waited till the last possible minute and the last possible day that they could do this, so they just padded it out for like a one-page summary, and they've handed it back down to lower court because what they've done is they've said, well, we think that the president should be immune for certain things undertaken under his official or her official. It's never been a hair, but maybe one day. Their official acts as president that can be above the law, and then those official acts, what they are, needs to be defined by the lower court. So it's going to go down to the lower court. It's going to take months and months and months for the lower court to decide under Judge Duncan to decide what is and what isn't, and then it's going to go back to the Supreme Court, and they're going to go, no, Trump is never going to go down for this. He's got away with it. Today, this is it. Trump is not going to go down for the January the 6th. He's not going to go down for the documents with Arlene Cannon down in Florida.
Judge Cannon.
Not going to happen. Yeah, because she's part of the Trump.
She is. Trump has given her funds.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous that is so widely allowed.
Yeah, well, it is, and the Democrats should be making more of it. I mean, the Democrats should be fighting dirty as well. The last hope of an actual conviction for Trump is the conviction in Georgia for election meddling, where he called up the governor of Georgia and demanded that the governor find him 11,780 votes, which is just a normal thing to do in a normal everyday conversation between a presidential hopeful and the incumbent.
It was perfect. Governor. Don't worry about it.
It was a perfect phone call, but because Farney Adams decided that she wanted to have an affair with the rather sexy prosecutor, that's been thrown into doubt as well now, and they thought they got away with it. If it wasn't for you pesky Republicans, because it's now going back to court, isn't it, in September to decide whether she can stay on the case again?
Yeah.
That's been appealed. So none of this is going to go through. Trump has got away with everything, and Biden is weekend at Bernie's. Now the Democrat Party are just propping him up on on Springs. I don't know if they're giving him cocaine or something before he goes out and reads off a teleprompter to give him some fire in his belly. I really don't know.
Well, whatever they
Barney
gave,
Willis.
whatever they gave, Kennedy, they should probably give to
Yeah.
'cause
What?
his
They gave him a
whole
bullet. What are you talking about? What?
it's
A
not
bullet
that
in the back of
shot,
the head for
the
the
other shot.
president?
His
What are you
Dr.
saying?
Feelgood.
Insurrection.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Mikey's in the chat apparently. Full bin squad invading politics social. I think Jartan's in there as well. Hi Jartan. Hi Mikey.
No.
Yeah, Mikey Famine. There you go. Lucky for him, we can express order it. Ooh. What's getting express ordered? I don't know. Now, okay, I've got a question. If you were president right now and the Supreme Court had basically said, hey, you have the power of a king, what would you do?
Oh. Ooh. It's a difficult one because, well, I would probably get rid of, I would just start getting rid of things I don't like because I
Like
would
Trump.
be
Can we get rid of
like,
Trump? You don't like him.
well, yeah,
SEAL SEAL Team 6 haven't had much to do since he took out
that would
Osama bin
be
Laden.
like, that would be great. To start getting rid of my political opponents.
Yeah, and then when they bump him off, you can say, no, I meant to take him out for dinner.
Which
mean...
you know what? Which you know what? It's like Trump has been saying that he's been attacked by his political opponents. Like, actually attack him.
Yeah.
See what
there you go.
See what it feels like. He could
Yeah.
he could send him out and throw him into prison right now. Just lock him up, send him to Gitmo.
Well, I mean, surely Biden can just send out some mad executive orders now. Just start going nuts on them, especially with judges, federal judges. That's it, because this is the plan.
We can expand the Supreme Court now without any problem. Because I mean, talking about this particular ruling, I mean, it shouldn't have been a problem. Like, it should be, no, the president is not immune. Like, it should have been easy.
Yes. Yeah. No one is above the law.
But it's not, and it's on party lines because judges aren't supposed to have a party, but they do have, like, the conservatives versus the liberals. This should be concerning because this is exactly what this Project 2025 is begging for.
Yes, I was just about to come on to this.
This is that stamp of approval of this Federalist Society stuff. Yeah. This is not a conspiracy, everybody, by the way. This is real.
Yes.
And this is happening in front of our eyes. Okay.
So Project 2025 is a project put together by the Heritage Foundation, which is a disgusting right-wing think tank funded by people like the Koch brother, because there's only one left. Yay. And also, I don't know if it's pronounced Koch, but it looks like it's pronounced Koch to me. So I'm
you could
the Koch
whatever
brother.
You want.
It's a bit like the Barclay brother in the UK. There used to be two of them, now one of them. Yeah. And they're pretty evil. They are. Anyway, so they're an oil conglomerate, aren't they? Oil and poison and foul air, pollution, global warming. They're
no regulation.
They're a global warmist agenda. And they've got this thing called the Project 2025 that they've put out. And essentially, it's because in 2016, they didn't expect Trump to win. No one was ready for it. So he spent the first few months, years of his presidency playing golf and doing not very much and proposing things that never actually happened, like building a wall against Mexico, expelling all Muslim people from America. What else did he try and do that he just failed? Pretty much everything. He tried to repeal Obamacare, didn't get anywhere.
Didn't do that.
It was all the things he said he was going to do, he didn't do. So this time they're going to hit the ground running, and from day one, when Trump is a dictator, he is going to overhaul things like the Department of Justice in America and kick out everyone who's not a yes man to Trump.
Yep. They're going to Department of Education gone, because apparently only they can decide who gets educated. They're going to
get rid of the Department of Education and the Department of the Environment as well, aren't they?
The EPA, the Department of Energy, which controls how we use energy, which includes oil, coal, solar, wind. So, there's no regulation on that. There's going to be, they're going to take away, food stamp benefits. So any of these what people call welfare, they're going to take that away. So poor children can die from starvation, uneducated and without health care. So good job, pro-life.
Yeah. Well,
yay. Let's just
yeah.
it's
Well, I asked what you'd do if you're president, right? And I'm just thinking about this because, you know, I think it would change what you did if you were 81 years old and you're obviously circling the drain as Biden is. You know, I'd just take out the 6 members of the Supreme Court. Then I don't have to add more people to it. Then I add another 4, and which then, if someone else gets in, they could add another 4 on top of that, or another 10. It would start getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would just take them out because it's a job for life, isn't it? So they're not alive anymore. Then it's not going to be a job anymore for them. And then you can put in 6 liberal judges who are all like 21. And that's it. The whole agenda 2025, the project 2025, it's dead in the water if he did that, because they could just declare, right, you know, Trump is taking the piss here. This guy mounted an insurrection against our Parliament building, or Congress building, Capitol building, sorry. And you just say, look, we can do this because the evidence.
We can do whatever we want now.
Yes,
we
are
have
given us the power to do anything you want without any consequences, as long as it's official. Brad W, thank you very much for the super chat. If Trump wins, Mexico will build a wall to keep Americans out.
Canada's already doing that, so we're already stuck.
Christ.
I know.
So if Project 2025, Brenna, if this goes ahead, I mean, they want to ban nationwide ban on abortion.
Yeah.
They want a nationwide ban on pornography. That's going to go down well in America.
Those poor southern states.
Yeah. I think they're still going to be allowed to have sex with horses, but they just won't be able to film it. I think that's going to be the rule. It's
an idea.
Yeah. Simon Smith in the chat is saying Liz Truss went to the Project 2025 Jamboree last year, calling for the end of democracy in the USA, which is nice. And Ivan, thank you very much for the super chat, Ivan. Ivan and Tim have been very kind this evening. Sounds like all the evil Rishi Sunak wants to do in the UK. Yes, but he can't because he's going to be out of on his ear on Friday. So yeah, I have one final question before we wrap up, Brenna, which is Project 2025. Let's just say Trump wins. Sorry to put that spectre into your head, but he wins. Project 2025 comes in. What are you and your friends and your family going to do? What's your plan? Are you just going to ride it out, or
this is the thing this is a huge problem right now, is we should be talking about this stuff constantly, because this I mean, I read bullet points on it, and it's scary how easily they want to just remove everything that's keeping us alive, keeping us going, keeping us, free, or to whatever extent we have freedom to. I mean, when Trump got elected the first time he got elected, like, my heart sank. I couldn't sleep for 3 days. Like, I just couldn't, because the ramifications of that we didn't even know, and it's still going on.
I actually puked, and then South Park did the cartoon, and when it came, it was announced, someone ran out the building and puked everywhere. And I was like, that was me. I did that. You. I literally did that.
Oh, they were recording you. Okay, good. They knew. But these, like, if that Project 2025 is set into motion, we don't have a country anymore.
No.
We will go into civil war. And this is what they want. They want us to destroy the country. They like it. They're happy about it.
But I can't see how that's good for capitalism, because dead people don't buy shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if everyone's robbing from each other's houses after they've murdered their neighbours and sexually assaulted their pets and done whatever they want, they've been fantasizing about doing for many, many years, they're not going to be going to the Walmart to buy that stuff, because they'll just go to the neighbour's house, kill everyone, and take the stuff from there.
Yeah.
So for capitalism It's not great, is it?
No.
And I think a lot of people don't realize just how complex everything is at the moment with logistics to keep people fed. I think they go to Home Depot and like the tools are all constructed
Hmm.
there somehow. It's not like metal from all around the world and put together in different factories and then assembled in another factory
Yeah.
and then transported thousands of miles into your local shop. Do you know what I mean?
Which is the most remarkable thing when people say, like, other parts of the country, they say that they hate California, but we have some of the most major shipping ports. We have
Yes.
military. Many military bases. We have the tech industry. We have the agriculture industry. We have so much that other states rely on. I mean, we're a donor state. They're disasters that they decide that they can't do anything about because
Yeah.
climate crisis isn't real. We're the ones that are funding that. We're the ones that are keeping them afloat. And it's if they don't want that, that's fine. Let's keep it and lower our taxes and everybody will be happy.
Well,
Like,
that's the
don't
thing,
take our
isn't
money.
it?
Don't take our money.
The rich areas that vote Democrat pay for the poor areas that keep voting Republican. Maybe you should
They
stop.
don't know it.
Maybe you should just stop and say, "Look, I'm not paying for you anymore. You're too stupid and inbred and
That's
annoying."
that's something that has actually like crossed a bunch of our minds, is that we need to work on not giving them our
Or
hard-earned tax dollars. And we
so
lower our taxes at the same time.
one of the
Property
things,
values,
yeah,
all that
one of
good.
the things I'd like to see in the UK is, 'cause I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate the NHS as much as they should because they've never experienced anything else. They've had a thing all their life where if they break their leg or they're feeling ill, they can go to the hospital, they go see a doctor, and it's free.
Ugh.
No one asks them for money, no one asks them for insurance. You can call an ambulance, the ambulance turns up, and
Mm,
they might say, "Oh, you don't need an ambulance, you don't get a bill for $3,000." None of that, right? So we take it for granted. However,
mm.
I would like a
Ridiculous.
system where you go to the hospital to have an x-ray, and when you leave, they give you a receipt for how much that x-ray would have cost if you had gone private.
There
Just
you
so you
go.
know, just a little information. There you go. That's how much you just cost the
Because we
taxpayer.
we actually, so even our billing, even though we don't have a universal healthcare system and we do have, private insurances, we still get the bill that says this is what it would have cost
Yes,
without any
we need that in the
insurance,
UK. We need that in the
and
UK.
this is what it costs with insurance, and it's
Yeah,
still too high.
it's
But
mind blowing in America. Don't get ill. Okay, so what have we got so far? We got don't be ill, don't be
yeah,
old, don't be young, don't be a baby.
don't
Be a
be a woman.
fetus, that's okay. Don't be a woman. Don't be LGBTQ plus. Don't be an ethnic minority. Don't be a Native American. Is there anyone else? Don't be Mexican.
Don't be anything but Christian,
Oh
like any
yes,
other
any other religion,
religious,
including atheists.
including
That's a
atheists,
religion, but
agnostics,
yeah,
Muslims. No, no,
yeah,
no, 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 no.
no, no, unacceptable. Oh my god, it's terrifying. It really is. Tim, thank you very much for the £10 super chat, saying this is what Putin has paid for, and he absolutely has. We haven't even mentioned Putin tonight, but we've got through a lot.
We did. We got a lot.
Do you feel like there's any little bit of hope that we can leave people on before we go, before we sign off, to say, this might happen and it might be all right?
If you actually talk to people, especially local governments, there is hope, because there are people out there that really believe in the America, in the country, in democracy, in the advancement, in the progress of us. It's just hard to see this from, you know, the earth view, because we're
Mm,
not seeing it from the macro. Like, we're not seeing it there. And if you do see it, if you are lucky enough to go out there and see what's going on, you do have hope. And there
yeah,
are people out there working for the betterment. Even if they're not politically aligned with you, there are some people that actually believe in democracy and believe in real life, not fake pro-life, but real advance, children, animals, environment, um, everybody. So there is hope.
I think you're right, and also Someone's pointed out in the chat, Trump is mortal. He will cark it one day, maybe sooner than we were thinking. He's
Yeah.
kind of overweight, doesn't really take care of himself, doesn't do any exercise.
There are limits. There are limits on humans.
Yeah. Oh, Ivan, thank you very much for the super chat. He's got another minority to add. The disabled. Don't be disabled either. So thank you, Ivan, for pointing that one out. Just don't be different, or you'll die. That's going to be the new motto of America. Just translate that into Latin, and we're sorted. Don't be different. Marza in the chat is saying, Marza Jeddah is saying, Graham, I totally agree about the billing. After my friend went to a private GP and got the prescription, I was shocked at how much her medicines cost. Everyone should see a bill to frighten them. I thought this because when I was on income support, this is back in the early noughties when I was living in Liverpool, I had a cat called Boutros Ghali, which is a great name for a cat, and had to take him to the vet, but we didn't have enough money to pay the vet fee, so we used the PDSA. And they gave us a bill for how much it would have cost if we went to the vet. And that made me appreciate the PDSA so much more, which is a free charity that gives, that helps people with pets.
Sweet.
And I've given to them ever since. So I hope I've paid off by now. But yes, it is stunning. And Mikey in the chat, Mikey Famine from the Bin podcast, has said that his daughter was $16,000. I don't think that was to buy. I think that was to be born. $16,000. Jesus, how do you lot afford it? If you all got like one kidney, or you all sold a kidney, do you give blood? I mean, what do you do? How do you make that much money?
You have to have multiple income. You have to have multiple incomes, and I don't mean just like parents. You have to have other types of we have multiple jobs.
Yeah.
And we live in places that are unsustainable to live. It's incredible. And,
no state mandated maternity leave.
I mean, I'm really lucky I don't have children, and because I do like money, and I cannot afford to have children in this economy.
Well, I've got that situation here in the UK. I can't afford to have kids.
Yeah, it's
and that's and the racists use this as the thing. They go, the great population, was it the population replacement theory?
Yeah, the replacement theory.
The great replacement theory. Yeah, and you're like, you're literally making this happen by making people in the middle class, never mind people in the working class, not be able to afford to have kids. So what do you think is going to happen? Because we're still going to need people to do the jobs.
Yep.
But there you go. Mikey's saying all of his bodily fluids are gone. He's had to sell them all.
Okay.
Yeah. And David says Trump will never leave office if he gets back in. If he wins, then Joe needs to send in SEAL Team 6.
He's God. He's God right now.
That's the end of America as we know it. So thanks for doing this, Brenna. I only asked Brenna to do this today. I think it was your first message you got in the morning was me going, "You wouldn't mind coming on my channel, would you?"
I'm like, first off, I had to accept the message. So I'm like, is this really Graham talking to me?
Well, you're one of my patrons, aren't you? Or you were? Or
I was for a little while.
Okay, because I was going to contact you through Patreon, but when people contact me through Patreon, I don't get any kind of notification. So I only go on it now and again, and I'm like, oh my God, someone wrote to me 2 weeks ago. So if you have written to me on Patreon, I'm very sorry. I will get back to you. I'll have a look at it this week.
It's okay. You could have contacted me through Wayne Maker over there.
Oh no, I did. Well, I tried to, but you got back to me several hours before Wayne did.
Okay.
Thanks,
works out. That works out for me. I like that idea.
But thanks so much for doing this, and hopefully we can do it again, maybe after the election.
Yes.
I like this sort of,
let's
you can give me the down low on what's happening on the other side of the pond and the other side of the continent, because you are.
Yeah, I'm on the other side, but I'll start packing and going towards the UK right now. So let's do that.
You're very welcome to, and the rest of the bin are very welcome to take refuge on Ginger Island in Panama if it ever gets that bad.
Oh, that's even easier. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. We do need to build up a bit though, because it's sinking under the waves because of climate change. But I'm sure together we can move some soil.
Okay. I'll start.
And yeah. And Simon says, thanks, Brenna. Viva Noam Chomsky. And you got a compliment on your dress as well, by the way, earlier. Apparently, it's a very nice shade of blue.
Oh, I like this one.
So there you go.
I like it. Little bubbles. It makes me look tropical. Like I live in a tropical
it's nice and hot. It's nice and hot in California, isn't it?
Oh, well, however you define
nice.
hot, it's basically hot for us, but
yeah,
it might be different.
Well, I've only been there in December, so it was pleasant in December. I wasn't baking my ass off.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. Anyway, this was a good time. I hope we raised some people's spirits in the situation by going, there are good people in America and Trump might die. So there you go.
I'm a good person in America, everybody.
So I'll be back tomorrow morning with Morning Brew at 9:30. Phil can't make it. He's going to the hospital for some tests. So if you want to send him some love, head over to A Different Bias on YouTube here and wish him all the best. And I'll be back tomorrow. And then we've got Geoscope tomorrow evening with Ollie, Bowler Hatman. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Lot to talk about going on around the world. So until then, before I go, Damien, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Can you explain why in the Western world the Conservatives are red in the USA? Stop it, red means communist. we can't get into this right now, but there is an interesting Vox video on that exact thing. So type in Vox, why is Democrat blue and Republican red? And you watch the video on it because it's quite interesting because it never used to be that way.
No, it wasn't.
They switched it
around. It was just a random chance.
Yeah, it was just random. Anyway, I think which is a kind of disappointing answer, but there you go. It's the truth. The truth is usually slightly disappointing. Anyway, Brenna, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to for all the super chats. Give us a like on the way out. And until next time,
I love you guys.
I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye.